Tomorrow, state senators head back to the Capitol for a special session to consider the hotly debated police accountability bill. It passed the House along party lines last week, and this morning supporters of the bill urged the Senate to pass it, while opponents hosted a rally in Fairfield calling on them to vote against it. The bill passed the House last week by a vote of 56 to 86. It expands minority officer recruitment and establishes civilian review boards and an Office of the Inspector General with subpoena power. It creates a framework for a social worker response team as well. It requires implicit bias training, body and dash cams, officer bystander intervention, and mental health assessments. The bill also prohibits use of military equipment and chokeholds. Probably the most controversial part, though, is removing qualified immunity for police officers. You might have heard that term, qualified immunity, before, but what exactly is it? Well, qualified immunity means an officer can be held personally, legally liable should he or she do something wrong while on the job. It's a provision that's alarming officers who say